Steve, we always know at 89 we talk a lot of ball, but we mostly love talking about wide receivers. You love talking about wide receivers. I love listening to you talk about wide receivers, and that's why people subscribe to this channel. All these rookie report cards through the roof. What a class we saw in 2024 of these guys taken at the top of the draft. Malik Neighbors balling out. Brian Thomas Jr. balling out. Lad McConkey playing outstanding football. All of these receivers having a really good rookie season, a lot of them. And there's some guys at the college ranks that sadly we won't be giving a report card to anytime soon due to the rules of having to be 3 years removed from high school. Ryan Williams down there in Alabama, and you have Jeremiah Smith at The Ohio State University.
First of all, 19 years old. Watching his film, surprisingly, he doesn't get a lot of targets. He gets like 4 or 5. He's had some where he's had 9 catches for 100 yards. Most of the time he does his work in like 4 to 6 catches a game. So I like that. That shows me that this is a kid who the transition isn't going to be extremely hard for him because he's not a volume catcher. He does a lot of dirty work with a little bit of opportunities. But just a few things. Fast, fluid, smooth, hell of a route runner. I'm watching this film, and he already looks like a pro wide receiver just with his efficiency.
100%.
The way he runs, the way he smooths, puts DBs on skates. I'm talking straight skates. I ain't talking about the new ones. I'm talking about old school, right? He's put DBs on notice because that's a grown-ass man at 19 years old. You need to check his birth certificate.
This is the crazy part. Of all the receivers that, I mean, there's this competition, right, that goes on in college football. Who's wide receiver you? Is it LSU, who has a lot of great names to say that it's us? Is it Ohio State? Like, a lot of great names to say it's us. And you're seeing him come through, and every Ohio State receiver that's been there before, all the way back to Chris Carter, is like, this one's different.
Yep.
Like, this guy's different. And so what I'm curious about is for him to have this polished ability. Now remember, he was the #1 recruit in the class of 2024. All the players, all the positions. And so how does he continue, because we know he has 2 more years of college that he has to play, unless he wants to pull Maurice Clarett and fight the system. But he comes in so polished. What does he do now, Steve, moving forward? Year 2, year 3 at Ohio State?
Well, one, your quarterback play must improve. Keeping your same offensive coordinator, allow him to line up at different formations. Right now, I think he's just lined up at X a little bit. He lines up at a few different positions. Okay. But as he continues to go, find out where and what he does best, find out what he needs to improve on, and have that 6 months, have an off season where everything he doesn't do well, make him repeat that over and over. If he is chopping a little bit too much when he, on his left side playing at Z, have him play Z, have him play F. Get him familiar with all 4 positions, because now he comes into the season where they don't tell him, the player, what to play. Now the coaching staff says, where do we need him? Because he has the ability to play anywhere on the field. It used to be your dominant wide receiver was X. Then it moved to Z, and now it's F. Mm-hmm. But F moves around everywhere. He's off the ball most of the time. He's in motion. And so I would love to see him master all of the positions, and that way he becomes the master of his own destiny and knows exactly where he prefers. And so it's not leaving him to a team that's all of a sudden going to instruct him where to go. That's what I would like to see.
I love that. Because he's already at the point, right, Steve? He's not just winning these routes because he's a better athlete.
He's winning a route because of technique.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched the Oregon game. They lost the game, the first one, right? Mm-hmm. He was going against a few corners. He routed up the free access and took off running. I had to pause it and rewind it to make sure I didn't have it on slow-mo because he was moving so fast. Number 9 looked like he was in trouble. Number 9 for the Oregon Ducks was trying to cover Jeremiah Smith on the left side of the field. And I'm telling you, I heard him yell, "Mama, there goes that man. Help, help, help." It was crazy, bro. He was.
Okay, well, he's playing in that national championship game. All eyes will be on him. Again, he can't get into the league for another 2 years after this. The good thing that I think has changed with NIL money, he's gonna make some money while he's in college before he gets to the league.
Which is good because he gets to develop.
He's gonna get to develop. He's gonna have the ability to be more polished. But I wanted to just tell this quick story before we go. Here's the deal, people. All season long, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. Only on Underdog. Pick higher or lower on your favorite player, and you can join the millions of fans winning millions this season. Sign up today using promo code UD89, and you'll get a free pick as part of your first cash entry, plus $1,000 in bonus cash. Again, promo code UD89 to cash in on every touchdown this season, only on Underdog. You know, Ryan Day has ties to the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously coached there under Chip Kelly. And then obviously Chip Kelly's now his offensive coordinator. There's some ties there with the organizations. And during the summer, some coaches from Ohio State went and spent some time at training camp with the Eagles. Kind of take a look, stand on the sidelines, see how a pro organization does it. And I was told by some Eagles coaches that during some of the conversations they were having, obviously everybody watches ball, right, Steve? These NFL guys are watching and curious about a player like Jeremiah Smith before he even played it down. So they were asking these Ohio State coaches, you know, is the kid really as good as we're hearing he is? Like, what do you think? And they were like, we had to pull him out of drills in spring because we weren't able to run some of the stuff we wanted to run because he was so unstoppable. And that was his spring semester of high school because he finished early and went. And they said, we're looking at and this one coach said this to me, he goes, I had an Ohio State coach tell me, I'm looking at your team right now and going, during his senior year of high school in our spring practices, he 100% would hold his own and could make this roster. Like, if that doesn't show you where he is physically, where he is mentally, where he is as a player at, which should have been hanging out with his friends senior year, the Ohio State coaches told the Eagles coaches he legitimately would be on an NFL roster right now where he's at. And that's before a college game. So just an unbelievable talent. It's going to be really fun to watch him, break him down. And hey, in a couple of years, Steve will do his rookie report card when he's in the league. And the other real quick note is this. We're starting to do some of our draft stuff, right? Some of our draft analysis. Speaking to a couple of executives around the league, if he was coming out this year.
First overall pick. And I'll tell you why he's the first overall pick, and I know some of you guys don't want to hear it. This year's draft class, there were free agents in last year's draft class that would be third and fourth round picks in this year's draft class.
Are you talking about receivers?
Class, the receivers, it's not, it's oil and water. It's so much separation. There's 80 wide receivers that have declared or are up to be drafted. There's average about 27. The most has ever been, I think a COVID year was 31. Last year was 25. It's 80, but only 25 is going to get drafted. Somebody's not going to get drafted, right? And that's an understatement. And it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of guys who don't understand they probably should have stayed.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the news of some other people, that guys that are declared for the draft and now fighting for their lives to keep themselves out of jail as well. So it's an unfortunate situation, but I'm just telling you, this year's draft class is not as strong. Wide receivers is not as strong as last year's draft class.
Okay, then where's Jeremiah Smith rank in last year's draft class if he was coming out?
Top 10.
Top 10. That's what I thought. Man.
Top 5.
Top 5? Top 5?
Yeah, top 5.